Welcome to the Wonder Boldly podcast, hosted by yours truly, Christine, founder of Drizzle Academy. I am going to encourage and motivate you to take action towards your big goals. I'm going to teach you everything I've learned from building a very successful 25-year career, coaching people, and starting my own online business. I am going to give you so many action items you are going to be able to wonder boldly. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of Wonder Boldly. I am so excited to introduce you to my special guest today, Liz Trujillo, who is the owner of My Tru Design. She helps people who are passionate about their business to improve their brand identity, and she is just amazing. You have to check her out. She is My Tru Design on Instagram and on Facebook, and you will be amazed by all of her beautiful, beautiful designs. And I am so lucky today to have her here with me on this podcast, Wonder Boldly, and she really is the epitome of why I am doing this podcast, because as you know, we all wonder what possibilities there are, and we need to take action. And she certainly has been taking action in her business and life. I cannot wait to share her with all of you. This is going to be so fun. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, Christine. I'm very happy to be here.
Yay! Somehow I came across Liz on Instagram, and I was just really drawn to your designs, and they were just so beautiful. And the ones at that time that I was looking at were what I call, and I'll definitely defer to you on how you describe them, but just really elegant and clean is how I would describe it. And so I just love them. And then so I started following Liz and then chatting back and forth with her a little bit. And then started to get this sense of about you in that it really seemed to fit the model of this podcast, where you talk about, you know, a little bit about your history on your about page and just kind of taking a leap. And as my audience knows, this is Wonder Boldly because all of us are guilty of it, sitting around wondering what could be, but actually taking the action steps to make things happen. And so that's why you really stood out to me. And then you're so sweet, you're so nice. And so we chatted back and forth a bit, and I'm like, I'm going to get really brave and ask her to be on the podcast. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
So I'll give you a minute to maybe introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the questions.
Of course. Well, I'm Liz Trujillo. I'm a graphic designer, founder of My Tru Design. I help amazing women to pursue their dreams of having a business. So I help them setting up all their brand identity. So that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. So tell us a little bit, if you will, tell the audience a little bit about your backstory and how you got to this point.
Well, I was in college. I've studied 4 years of graphic design and have a minor in web design. And I just since I'm a little girl, I love to draw. So the more obvious thing for me to choose as a career was graphic design. I can get paid for doing that. But then when I grew older, I just realized that this kind of career or creative path, it's a little bit overwhelmed. People don't really value that. But then I just had a lot of misconceptions about, well, can I have to have a living from this, or should I change and switch career paths? But then luckily I didn't hear for those comments or people that were saying me, well, you're going to be an artist, you're going to starve. But I just go with it, and I was happy. I am really happy that I stayed with my creative career, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to make a living from what I really love. So that's some of my story.
Nice. And so you also worked, you also worked for some companies, right? In the beginning, is that true?
Yeah, I do the career like the work path of a career designer. But I don't really find joy in that. Well, the experience of having that, it's great. Having the work environment experience, you learn a lot. I learned how to manage clients, how to pursue my things, and like have a voice and opinions of what I was doing, what I've done. So that really helped me. But when you're on a corporate job, especially as a graphic designer, you have to follow some kinds of rules. You don't really have the freedom to be creative. So
Mm.
that's something that I just noticed between the 2 or 3 years that I was working. So that's why I was like, no, I like doing this kind of work, but it doesn't give me the freedom to experiment with my creativity. So that's why I decided to just don't keep working for somebody else and try to make my own thing.
And now, did you leave? So are you currently self-employed, or are you still doing both?
Well, currently I have like a middle part-time job. It's just like 4 hours a day, so I can go with those 4 hours and then just focus all the rest of the hours of the day to my thing.
Nice.
But I'm really hoping that just to stay in that work just for 1 month, because right now I'm getting more clients, I'm getting more things to do, so I'm
Yay!
just happy because I will be able to leave that part-time job.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah, thank
Congratulations.
you. And really soon. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So now I'm going off a little bit because we did chat a little bit through Instagram on the questions were going to be, but I'm really interested in what you just said. So, where have you been finding clients? Like, how have you been getting more clients so you're going to be
Oh,
able to leave your job?
yeah, well, I've been putting my stuff out. I just been sharing my things. I've been talking to people. I've been making connections. I've been just finding and helping people with some things. For example, I've been helping a woman in her web design because she didn't know anything about that. So I told her, well, just pass me your login account and I will just help you to set up this shopping cart. And then I was just helping her, and then she told me, "Oh my God, I saw your last post. I want to do a branding with you. Can you please send me your prices?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course I can do that." And then from a good review, I have another one. So it's really about having the good review with your clients. That's what it's been giving me having more and more clients. So yeah, that's the thing.
Did you find this first example from Instagram or from some social media? Where did you?
For Facebook, actually, a Facebook
Facebook,
group
yeah.
helped me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Facebook. Well, do you know this, the Made to Do This Facebook group? So I was
Yes, yes.
there. I just was helping a lot of people that need like this kind of little help. So I was doing
Yes.
that. I am still doing that. So yeah.
Are you still part of the Kathy Heller program or group?
Yeah, we're in our 10 week, I think. So it's
Okay.
just two left. But that's been amazing. Like I've really learned how to put the thing that I love to work into a business because I was making money doing what I love, but I haven't considered it as an established business. I wasn't uh like treat my special gift as a business.
Yeah,
So this course really helped me to see
that's
through that and establish a lot of things that can help me to grow my business. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
that's so great. So just to pause there for a second for the audience. So what we're referring to is Kathy Heller. She wrote the book, Don't Keep Your Day Job. And just speaking for myself, I loved that book and signed up for one of her programs, and she's just fantastic. And that's what we're referring to. You should definitely check her out. She's awesome. Tell us a little bit about what you would say is an obstacle that you've overcome and you'd give people advice on when they're wondering about, if they can do this, or maybe something that you've done and how you overcame that obstacle.
Of course, well, I think especially for creative people, the obstacle that is going to present you is managing your time. Like for example, I love doing branding, so I would spend hours sketching or hours in the computer, choosing colors, choosing typography. But when you see what you do like a business, you need to respect time. You need to put boundaries. You need to set up a schedule and be true to it, because otherwise you are not going to know how you're going to spend your time. So I think that an advice that I could give is just like block your hours, establish a certain time to follow through your emails, and like just try to break down all the little activities that you do into an hour or two, so you can really have like this sense of what are you doing with your time.
How far in advance do you make your schedule? Is it a week? Is it a month?
Well, it depends. If it's a social media, like sharing things in Instagram, I prefer to do it like a month. So I schedule the entire month. And for activities, like from work activities, I just schedule it per week. So if I have a meeting, I just block the time and then just work as I just have like a really strict schedule of hours. So sometimes in between weeks can change. So that's why I just start with 1 week prior.
Inevitably, real things happen and you get off schedule. So how do you handle when stuff like that happens?
Well, I have like in my schedule, I have 2 hours of emails. Sometimes it doesn't give me that much time. So that second hour is just in case something happens. So
Nice.
I have separate another hour for sketching just in case, but luckily I haven't used that hour.
And do you block off any time for just yourself? Like, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
on social.
Yeah, that I think that's really important because if you are not good with yourself, you're not going to be able to have the motivation to stay with your business and keep going. So I really block like in the morning. I have 2 hours. I make yoga. I have my breakfast. So that time I'm not available. Like I'm available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and
Mhm.
that other hours are busy. So yeah, I have
Yeah.
established time for my personal things.
Good, good. Yeah, I was going to mention when we first got on, I noticed your yoga mat in the back. It looks similar to mine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love doing yoga.
And what about, are there any days that you say I'm not working at all?
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel overwhelmed. So in order to keep up the energy, I just block the half of the day and I'm okay.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to read. I'm going to do some journal so I can be re-energetic again.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Probably a lot in what we just talked about, how you're blocking your time and you're doing, the self-care, we'll call it that, like making sure you're recharging. Probably, I'm assuming helps a lot with momentum, but that does lead us into that question of, do you find that I find like a lot of creative people are really energized. They get excited about something they're working on. And then there's this point where they kind of go flat. It's like if they're a writer, they have writer's block, or they're just not feeling it and they're not really sure why. How do you deal? Do you experience that? And then how do you deal with that and keep momentum going?
Yeah, of course. I have experienced that. Well, in terms of the strategy, I think that what I like to do is make a list the day before so I know how to do the next day. So I just keep the list and I know the things that I need to get done.
Yeah.
So I woke up and I know what to do. But in terms of like keeping me motivated, what I really been enjoying to do is going back to my Facebook reviews and read what people have told me and in the ways that I help them. So that really helped me because it's like, oh, well, yes, I really helped this person and she really appreciates my job. So that's like what keeps me motivated, just turning back to those reviews
I
and
love that.
being grateful for it because that just reminds me why I am doing this. So yeah, that's
I love that, Liz. That's perfect.
thank you. I
That's
don't know
like,
if that's normal, but that really helped me.
yes, for sure. Just like that motivation, that positivity, right? And kind of resets or grounds you in the sense of, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's appreciated, and I help somebody. I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I was able to serve somebody, help somebody. It was a good thing. I love that. That's great
Thank you.
advice. Audience, you should pay attention to that advice.
Yeah, it really boosts you up. It's like, oh, she's really happy with that. And some clients of mine just shared to me, like, look, Liz, this is the packaging, and I am putting the product, and I'm so happy, and I am really happy with them. Like, I've been with them, so it's a really fun way to be a part of something.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. We're going to make sure to put that in. I'm going to post that when we post this episode. That is great, great
Thank you.
advice. I love that. Is there anything that you want to share? So I'm really curious, and maybe we'll have to get together again after some period of time after you've left your job, right? Because that's your goal
Yeah,
right now, right?
yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to other people that are thinking about that? They're starting to get off the ground with what they want to do and want to leave their 9 to 5, if you will. Is there any advice you would give, or things that you've thought of that you're even wondering about?
Yeah, of course. Well, in terms of advice, I will tell you, just share your work. Even though you are working on a corporate job, you can set up an Instagram account and just share what you're doing. That's how I started. And from that, you don't know who might see that, and hopefully you get some clients over there. So just post it and share it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Nobody really checks that out. So just share it. If somebody loves what you're doing, they are probably going to reach out to you. So just take a chance and be just bold and share it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's something key that you just said there about, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I think we like kind of hem and haw over things like, oh, should I post that? Or I don't want to offend anybody, or whatever the situation is. And it can be intimidating, but like I've said in other posts and an interview I did on a podcast was, I had this real fear, like, oh, I'm going to put this out there. It was really because I myself had never been on social media. Like, I just wasn't a thing, and I didn't. Anyway, so now coming into this world, a while ago, I was afraid to put my face out there. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And it was this whole big buildup. And I had a
Yeah.
mentor, and she was like, it'll be fine. Just do it, whatever. Anyway, so I did it. And what happened was nobody even commented. And so, in a way, that was the best thing, because it was like, nobody cares,
Yeah, I get it.
you
Yeah.
know?
I
So,
struggle with that too. Like, if you have your business by yourself, you need to put your face out there, because that's the way you're going to get clients. That's the way you're going to get known. Like, there is no another way to do that. You have.
you have to. And you can be the nicest person, but I'll be the first to admit, when I am reaching out to people on social, and I'm mostly Instagram. I do Facebook, but I'm not so great at it. But I will look to kind of get a sense, like, who is this person? I'm like looking for them, for their face. And if you
Yeah.
don't see a face, it's just images, and they might be beautiful. You're still kind of left wondering, like, who's behind that?
Yeah, yeah, that's really key thing to do. Even if you don't feel confident enough, you need to do that, because you want to be able to live doing what you love. So it's a small thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, in order to get the bigger picture, it's nothing really.
Right, right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been wonderful. Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
Christine. I love this. I love your podcast. I'm
Oh,
always
thank you.
subscribed. I hear everything, so I'm really grateful to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Liz. I really appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your strategies. We talked about time blocking, avoiding burnout, keeping to our routines, and strategies for when you feel overwhelmed. And my favorite, how you keep motivated. Thank you again, Liz, for joining me. This was so fun. You can follow Liz on Instagram at My Tru Design, and on Facebook, My Tru Design. Please go check her out, follow her. You will be amazed by her beautiful, beautiful designs. that's it for this episode. Thank you again so much for listening. Please head over to Instagram to follow me there at Drizzle Academy. And if you want more of these types of strategies and so much more around reaching your goals, you definitely want to get on my email list. You can go to my website, drizzleacademy.com, and sign up there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did and want to share it, take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you. Until next time, continue to wonder boldly.